1. BBC One only. MOTD line. Brazil v Morocco. 22:30 to 1:10. DTV terrestrial.
You mentioned Carlo Ancelotti in charge. Having won as much as he has in the club game, can he take that magic and sprinkle it over international football?
Well, that's the big question. I think we all know what Carlo can do at club level. Obviously, national team is different. Also, for me, it's special was the titles that we've seen that he won. They are incredible. The thing I like the most about Carlo Ancelotti is he finds a way somehow. You know, Pep Guardiola, you know, well, his way. That's it. Mourinho, on the other side, his way. No. Carlo is the kind of guy that always find a way to play a different system depending on the play. Now, can you do it at this level? It's going to be a big challenge, but I'm pretty sure he got another 4 years, so it's going to be more than this World Cup with Brazil.
And he's handled a couple of situations, potentially tricky situations, very well. The man management skill with someone like Neymar is huge, because it may well be fortunate that Neymar had an injury, but with people like Tom Brady and Travis Scott in attendance, Neymar brings that same level of star factor.
Yeah, unbelievably he does. You know, that's one of the reasons I wanted. I obviously wanted to see who was going to be in the England squad, but I actually tuned in to see who was going to be in the Brazil squad. It's just that kind of start, even though he might not be at the level that we remember him at.
Yeah, no, me when I with these decisions, it can mark the future of the national team in this World Cup. Some people think it's easy decisions. You pick Neymar or not. Yeah. If you don't and you lose, that's a bad decision. And the other way, which is important, is everybody now in Brazil is together. And it's a massive country, and football is so important. So I think it was a great decision, more than a manager, than a coach. And let's see if we can bring him in. Maybe he can help the team too.
Well, Joe, I know you were waiting for the Brazil squad announcement. Let's take a look at the Brazil team for this evening. And it's Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson in goal for Brazil. The Champions League finalists, opponents in the Champions League final, Marquinhos and Gabriel, start together at centre-back. It's a Premier League midfield of Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro. Vinicius Jr. wins his 50th cap for his country. And Brentford's Igor Thiago starts up front for Brazil. As for their opponents, Morocco, a lot of promise in this squad, but their keeper Bono, and maybe one of the more experienced players, 3 clean sheets in 6 games at the 2022 World Cup. Fulham's Issa Diop wins just his 5th cap for Morocco alongside Crystal Palace's Xavi Riaz. The former France under-21 captain Amir Bouadi starts in midfield. Star player Brahim Diaz will be a danger on the right wing, of course, and PSG Eindhoven's Ismail Sabari leads the line. So let's cross over to the stadium now to hear from Alan Shearer. Alan's on co-commentary for us today. And Alan, you're there in the World Cup final venue. How's it looking? How's it feeling?
It's feeling incredibly hot, Kelly. The heat is just unbelievable. I mean, the players are going to have to cope with a very difficult situation down on that pitch, because it really is intense, the heat. But the atmosphere, everything about it is just outstanding. It's just great to be here.
Has it changed the atmosphere, the fact that the USA have got off to such a great start with their 4-1 victory? Has the country started to get a bit of World Cup feeling yet?
Well, it certainly has in New York. I was lucky enough to arrive here last Monday afternoon, and slowly but surely, as the weeks gone by, the atmosphere has been building. Wednesday night was unbelievable because the Knicks won their game, and then it sort of started from there. Thursday onwards, the Brazilians have been in town, and of course that result and performance last night, that's given us something very, very special here in New York.
Yeah, New York is party town at the moment. Just seems everywhere of fans celebrating, whether it's basketball or whether it's that victory in the World Cup as well. As for Brazil, as we've been saying, it's not a great Brazil squad. However, it's Brazil at a World Cup, and they're up against this Morocco side who've got such promise. What are you looking forward to from this game, Alan?
Well, the expectation on Brazil, as everyone knows, is incredible. The demand for success is huge, but I agree with you and the guys in the studio. It's not a vintage Brazil team. Having said that, they've got 2 of the best centre-halves in the world in Gabriel and Marquinhos. They've got Vinicius Jr. And they've got some real talent in their team. The one thing I would perhaps worry about with maybe legs in midfield. But having said that, they're up against a very good team in Morocco, and I heard you say earlier about it being a great game and a great test for Brazil. But, and also, as the guy said, they've got Carlo Ancelotti, and that just gives them that little bit extra, I think.
Carlo Ancelotti and that sea of yellow that we can see behind you of those Brazil supporters who we know are going to bring the party atmosphere, and we know what the Morocco fans can contribute as well. Alan, it's going to be a great evening. Enjoy it. We'll be hearing more from you a little bit later on. But as we've been saying, yes, it's Brazil at the World Cup. Yes, they have Carlo Ancelotti. But this has been their worst ever qualifying campaign. They only won 8 out of very 10 games. They finished 5th behind Argentina, Ecuador, Colombia and Uruguay. So has the arrival of Ancelotti raised expectations? Well, South American football expert Tim Vickery will be with us throughout the tournament, and we can hear from him now. So Tim, the big question about Brazil is, with the Ancelotti factor, have the Brazilian fans, have the people that you're talking to in Brazil at the moment got a level of optimism about this World Cup?
You know, this is my 8th World Cup in Brazil. You just made a happy man very old. And although it's obviously madness, you know, look out my window and it's like the yellow brick road out there. It's not turned up to 11 yet. It's a little bit low-key at the moment. There are some World Cups where at this point the people are swagging around saying, look, you might as well give us the trophy now and save yourself some time. Not this time around. There's a degree of uncertainty going into the tournament, and it's going to be up to the team to carry the people with them on this journey.
And we can see that the people are certainly being carried away in terms of their preparations for this game at the moment. Carlo Ancelotti has said, though, Tim, that he doesn't want to play in any one particular type of way. He doesn't want Brazil to be predictable. But what can we expect from them?
Well, you know, it's been a very bumpy ride before Ancelotti took over, but also since, because he planned just to have 2 men in the centre of midfield, and Alan said that he was worried about the legs there, and so clearly is Ancelotti, because he's given up on that. He's got a 3rd man in midfield now with Lucas Paquetá, and the Brazilian press are finding it very, very hard to read, because no one saw this selection coming. No one saw it at all. The 2 fullbacks, and especially the surprise, is Igor Thiago starting up front and not Matheus Cunha. Now, that can probably be interpreted in a cautious way, because what he said about Igor Thiago is that he wants him for when his team is under pressure, because you can play up to him and he can hold the ball and give them a platform. The thing that most excites me about this game, Brazil's...
TV.
There will help, because it's not only about him. He's a guy, he likes to be the main player, and Real Madrid last year he tried out with Mbappe. Now with Neymar next to him, if he help him in the right way, he can make a difference, because he's got plenty of power.
How would you do that as a coach, Gus? Because he is such an important player, and you can see when he's happy, that's when he's at his best. But you can also see what pokes him, what rubs him up the wrong way, and when he struggles, he seems to bring the team down with him.
Yes, it's a tough one as a coach. You need to, like I said, it's very important you know the person.
Yeah.
I try to have not personal conversations in the office, but serious.
Yeah.
But maybe get a football, go in a corner, in a pitch, have a chat with him, find out, have a feeling of his reactions, and then manage it. You have to manage it, because you know you lose the whole squad. But it's a guy that you need it, like you say, happy. If he's not happy, it's a problem. It's a massive problem.
Which is probably Ancelotti's specialty, right?
We expect that.
It has to be, because we can see there the drop-off from his performances for Real Madrid compared to his performances for Brazil. Ancelotti has to keep him happy because he needs him to perform.
I think he will. We're talking about the best strength of the coach. I mean, if Brazil was looking for something specifically, and they went for Ancelotti, probably one of the reasons was dealing with this specific stars that they are difficult to do. But if they go on and they perform. I mean, Brazil can really have my friend Steve here.
I agree. I think he's well known to be a man manager, and through all the top clubs he's been in Europe, that's how the players respect him. And I think that's the reason why they brought him to Brazil, is to be the glue, to bring the atmosphere. Because being serious, Brazil has underachieved since 2002, the last time they won the World Cup, and they have good generation of footballers. But I think they need a manager who can take the pressure from the players and tell them, go on the pitch, just show how good you are, and everything will be fine. And I think that's the quality that they're looking for, and they find that in Carlo Ancelotti.
Of course, it's not just about Brazil this evening. 2026 has already been a momentous year for Morocco. In January, they hosted the Africa Cup of Nations and reached the final against Senegal. You will remember it was a match that made headlines around the world for all the wrong reasons.
Diameters of this final between Morocco and Senegal.
First 90 minutes of the game, almost nothing happens.
Corner for Senegal. Senegal have an opportunity to score a goal.
Abdulrazak is penalised for a tiny ball on Ahmed Hakimi.
It's not going to count this goal. The referee says it's allowed because there was some slight pushing in the back before the goal was scored.
That was a 100% foul. The referee got it right.
4 minutes later, down the other end.
Morocco get similar opportunity there on the Senegal end where there's a touch.
So can Morocco win this game deep into injury time?
Brian Diaz goes berserk, he's just screaming at the ref. He goes for Vardy. Elf jumps with Brian Diaz, has his hands on his shoulder.
I think he's getting a penalty. He is! It's a penalty for Morocco!
And Senegal cannot understand how the referee has decided to react, and then hell broke loose right there.
Oh, this is descending into absolute chaos. The Senegal coach is taking his players off the pitch.
Look back, the Senegal players have disappeared.
The players of Senegal not happy about what's going on. Their fans equally not happy about it.
You had Alex Diouf playing peacemaker, which told you how bizarre the situation was. And somehow these negotiations with Sadio Mane get them back on the pitch. I think they're off for 17 minutes in total. Tunde Ndala from DR Congo. He got a lot of criticism. I think he probably could have been stronger when Senegal walked off.
I mean, whatever game it was, it's a entirely different game after 17 minutes.
Then Brahim Diaz attempts a Panenka, completely the opposite.
It's saved!
The game goes to extra time.
Again with a shot! It's in! Third game for Senegal!
Everybody believes that Senegal won it, and worst of all, the cup president was down there and he got the medal.
Morocco appealed, and the CAF Appeals Board in March decided no, because Senegal walked off, the game is being awarded to Morocco. Senegal have appealed against that. It will go to the Court of Arbitration for Sport.
That decision, I can't understand till now.
Sadio Mane said this is really bad for African football.
I don't know how we ended up where we are in terms of all that has gone on.
It is, with the best one in the world, the only game that a lot of people outside of Africa will ever watch of African football. And what they'll take away from that is the chaos of injury time that follows.
Well, Senegal had that moment. They had the trophy lifting moment. They had the final whistle going and winning the game. However, the trophy is Morocco. So do Morocco feel like the AFCON winners?
I think it's a very awkward one. And you don't feel champion if you haven't hold the trophy in your hand and if you haven't celebrated with your fans. So it's very bittersweet. And I think more than anything for African football, it's a cup I've come to forget. And I think Morocco, like Senegal, are just excited to kick on with this World Cup and show that they are a good team and they can showcase on the big stage.
Who do you think is going to be one of the most important players for Morocco this evening? Because there is stardust in that side, but there are also players like Nail El Anawi who perhaps can knit everything together?
Absolutely. I think we heard about Bruno, we heard about Hakimi, about Diaz, but Nail El Aniawi has had a fantastic AFCON. He is really the center midfield who covers so much ground and is the first one to slow down the attack from the opposite side, and as well when he gets the ball to try to break the lines with his ball. And I think today he might play in a double pivot with the young Ayoub Bouadi, who's a very young talented player as well. But he will maybe have more chance to go forward and support because Bouadi will be the one who stays. So it's good for Morocco today and for the future.
And that midfield battle is going to be a really interesting one because you also have Bruno Guimaraes and you have Casemiro in that Brazilian midfield. Talking of goal-scoring midfielders, it feels that we should turn to you on that one, Gus. And what do you make of that midfield dynamic for Brazil?
Well, I think they got experience, quality. The players that they know how to deal with different situations on the pitch. They are good leaders, different characteristics. I think Casemiro had a terrific season in Manchester. It was outstanding. It's a little bit of the moment for him to go to the World Cup is coming at a perfect time because he wants to change size, play somewhere else. But I think they can control the midfield. I know Morocco is going to try to be stronger than that. But it was very important, I was saying to you, Kelly, of the record, what Tim said before about the midfielder. That Ancelotti is already trying, Joe, to find something there, no? I'm not going with the typical style of Brazil.
But that's how fluid he is as a coach, and that's why he's trying to get the best. Casemiro, by the way, looks so fit. He looks absolutely
because the question would be, do they have the legs? Have they got the pace, the energy to deal with Morocco? But that's not quite what we've seen this season. We've seen a rejuvenated Casemiro.
He does. He looks fantastic, and he's really carried Man United in difficult moments. He's been one of their shining lights, of course, alongside Bruno in the midfield. But I just think professionally, aesthetically there, he looks absolutely fantastic. And alongside Guimaraes, I think they could look really, really good. I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
There'll be a lot of people excited to see Brahim Diaz. Do you think there's any element, though, having seen what happened in the final, in the AFCON final, is there any element of a hangover from that, do you think?
I think he will hope that he can get on the score sheet during this tournament to try to make people forget this penalty, which, as we can see...
The question is whether he can forget it. That's the clue.
He's a professional footballer. He has to move on. The thing I think that will help him is that at the moment the decision has been overturned. Morocco, they're walking on the pitch to their African champion, even if he'll be decided in the autumn. So
nobody talk about the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Joe?
Yeah, I'm sorry. But the goalkeeper could have died.
You like that one?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I was with Brahim when he was very young at Manchester City, and it wasn't like a centre-half going up and trying to change. That's the way he plays, right? He's cheeky, he's off the cuff, he's excitable. Of course it would have hurt him, but it must have felt great to get that. I remember he was on the bench, wasn't he, during a game, and he got the call to say, by the way, it's been overturned. You won.
And look, he's had a fantastic AFCON up to that point where he had that moment, and this, as you say, will be a time to draw a line under that. For Neymar, it's going to be a step too far. Just when we sort of hinted at this a little bit earlier on, Carlo Ancelotti's exceptional man management skills. Is there an element, Gus, of it being quite lucky for Carlo Ancelotti that Neymar isn't fit necessarily for this game and might not even be fit for the duration of the tournament?
Volume 11.
Well, he made the decision of taking him in the 26th.
Volume 12.
Because
if it's
now
a 23-man squad, then that would be harder.
it would be harder, and also you will have a player that normally people expect you to play him, and you know that he's not in a great kind of form because he had a very difficult season in Brazil. So it helped him a little bit, at least in the beginning. Then maybe you need him, because let's not forget that he's a top player. Yeah. And also now feeling like we saw him, enjoying, that's another part of Neymar as well that you need. That happiness and bringing the people together, especially in Brazil, that they were very divided with the decision of Ancelotti.
Kickoff is fast approaching in this one. Obviously, everybody wants to see Brazil at the World Cup, Joe. But what can we expect, you think, from this game? Having heard everything that we have about Ancelotti's approach, about the level of the squad, about the level of opponents in Morocco, what are you expecting?
Well, all I can say is in that tunnel right now, the feeling of optimism and the belief that you have in your team. You've had all this time together in camp, both Morocco and both Brazil. hearing all the positive messages, how you're going to win this tournament, the excitement, and those first couple early touches in the tournament, getting your team moving, ticking the way you want to play today, says a lot. There's all sorts of focus out there. Look at Rafinha, he looks on it. I honestly can't wait to see how this plays out.
I want to ask you about the two goalkeepers as well, because I know you really like Bono, and also Alisson's been very interesting this week when he's talked about the fact that he almost rested himself for Liverpool in order to be properly fit for this World Cup.
Yeah, those are very honest comments, and they require a lot of context, and Alisson he loves Liverpool, absolutely adores the club, so he would have made that decision differently with the coaching staff to put himself in the best possible position. But look, he's fit and ready, he's one of the best in the world, and Bono, Hassan, as we talked about off there, they adore him as a goalkeeper. He's a big game player, and he'll be massive today.
Hassan, from Morocco, they've already beaten Brazil this year, last year rather. Will they take confidence? Will they take belief from that?
I do think so. You know, Morocco are in a very good run. They're unbeaten for 29 games. And I just think they will give them their best shot. They're not favourite to start the game, but they will show, and it's the biggest stage, they will show that they deserve to be ranked 7th in the world.
There's a lot to like about this Morocco squad, but it just feels like a World Cup once you get that first sight of Brazil. Taking you through the first half, your commentary team, Alan Shearer and Gary Mowbray.
Thank you, Kelly. And hello, everyone, from just a few miles outside the city that never sleeps, which seems appropriate for those of you at home getting ready for Scotland's big kick-off later on. Following this, the tastiest appetizer we could ever wish for.
Volume 11.
Begin their unrivaled 23rd World Cup quest against Morocco, who are the champions of Morocco, of Africa, coming into this tournament. Whether they ought to be or not. It's a long walk from the cavernous dressing rooms in the gigantic bowl. The MetLife Stadium, renamed New York, New Jersey for the purposes of the FIFA World Cup. And here are the players of the Seleção and the Atlas Lions, ready to line up for their national anthems. Approaching 6 p.m. local time, and the temperature still pushing 30 degrees Celsius. As with all of the games at this tournament, every single squad member will line up around the centre circle. Getting a taste, getting a feel, getting involvement from the start. National anthem of Brazil. sure you already know, has been ruled out of game 1 and maybe game 2 by a calf strain. Morocco's build-up has been disrupted by injury, including the withdrawal on Thursday of Nayef Bergard, formerly of West Ham, and the talented Real Betis winger Abdiel Zuli. Manchester United's Nusayr Mazraoui has recovered from a shoulder injury, and he adds to the established talents of Achraf Hakimi, Brahim Diaz and Bilal El Khanous. And then there's the raw promise of 18-year-old Ayoub Bouadi, who was set for a future with France, before being persuaded to change paths only last month. Familiar sight. An intense Brazil 3 World Cup match home. The weather's perfect. The vivid yellow and the red and the green are perfect too. All set for Group C to get started at the 2026 World Cup. This is game 1 of the venue where the final will be. New York, New Jersey. With the kickoff as Brazil gets started, which to many with long and starry-eyed World Cup memories means that the World Cup truly has begun. Well, that is quite elegant, but virtually a full-on tactical error. I don't think I've ever been so high up in a commentary position. Well, Joe, I'm scared of heights then, isn't it? What an atmosphere, what a stadium. It's like the game matches it. Absolutely superb, isn't it? Strong ball for Alisson. Plenty of support around Alisson. Get to the left field. Begin to play their part. Plenty of them. Guimarães. Into this whistle to his lips momentarily, and now does decide to blow it. The free kick goes Morocco's way. Santiago. Bit of amendment tagged to him and forced if possible to him. Might take it control right now. Push forward, brought to an end by Douglas Santos. All English club centre-back pairing for Morocco in Fulham's Issa Diop and Shani Riyad of Crystal Palace. Unai. 1v1 there with Santos, isn't it? Just like a forward or a midfielder, you want a good touch of the ball first. But as a defender, your first one-on-one, you want to win that tackle. And he did that. Carlos had a smart World Cup trip. Even he, who's seen it all, done it all, won it all, is showing extra sign of animation and excitement. Brand new challenge for him at the age of 67. Free kick Morocco. Uncommitted by Roger Ibanez. As we heard from Tim Vickery pre-match, it's a bit of a surprise selection. Both fullbacks, Ibanez and Douglas Santos, came a bit out of the blue. Marcel on the other side, Santos winning his first challenge. Ibanez didn't. Given the free kick away in a dangerous position. They attempt to the ankles of Bilal El Khanous. Leicester man is going to take the free kick. The first defender, but it was the Brazil flick on that almost came to Morocco's aid. Mazraoui. good team with the ball, they've been very comfortable on the ball. Ball off from themselves straight away for the ball. No one hiding at all. Still, from Marcus Paquetá. Nearly got past Mazraoui twice. He lunged in a bit, didn't make any contact with Alcanus. It's back with Bono. He wanted a foul and the crowd wanted a foul because his shirt was being pulled. Thought it was a foul. Daniels with the header. Alcanus with the pickup. Unai. Using this for Morocco. Bounced away from Unai, but he recovers. Hakimi, who will play such an integral part in Morocco's attacking play from right back, just as he does for Paris Saint-Germain. As Morocco made that far the brighter start here. All the sting taken off that shot. Clever hack away. Morocco on top in the opening exchanges, and that will please Mohamed Wahabi no end. Taking the game to Brazil, aren't they? Looking very comfortable on the ball. Talented Blani again. Here's Mazraoui. Alcanus. His touch is already giving Roger Ibanez a real test. Mazraoui. Ibanez is moving. Mazraoui in. Unai couldn't get it. Clearance made by Gabriel. Brazil rocking a bit. Great play that was from Mazraoui down the left-hand side. The way he went past the defender. Pulled a brilliant ball back to the edge of the box as well. Unai with the shot. Should do better. Doesn't get the strike anywhere near what he wants. Gabriel actually missed it in front of Archie's back. That's Alcanus with the shot. It's Bruno Guimaraes who came to Brazil's rescue. They just can't get away right now. Brahim Diaz. Gets it through. The shot is right across the face. Nobody in there to attack it. Goal kick Brazil. They might take as much time as they're allowed with this. He's got every right to put his arms in the air, Hakimi, because I think that's a brilliant ball across. Far post, there's not one Moroccan player in and around the 18-yard box, never mind the 6-yard box. As he gets it up and away. It's their first chance to use Thiago as the focal point that he's meant to be. He's done pretty well with it. Guimaraes. Casemiro. Lost control, never had control. Morocco once more. Saibari. Issa Diop. To El Adoui. It's all a bit tight in there that time. Thiago. This is Junior is in the central position for now. So slow it down. Marquinhos. Ibanez. He can do with a spell away from his own penalty area. That's what they've got to do. They've got to keep hold of the ball because since the game started, they've been under pressure. And every time they had the ball, they've given it back to Morocco. Brazil had to respond though and try to get their team going. Ibanez. To dig in to keep it clear of Uadi. Shot dings against the ball calmly to Mazraoui. Rafinha just chatting it on really with the effort. Morocco very neatly and pretty gracefully start to sweep it forward again. Uadi's really catching the eye already. Laid off for another shot towards Alisson's goal. Referee will blow his whistle here and give Brazil the decision. But there are 2 or 3. Well, there were 2 or 3 times where they chose not to have a shot. I think it could have come a lot earlier. duel with Vinicius Junior. It was on this pitch last July. It was in the Club World Cup semi-final. He was part of the PSG team that beat Madrid 4-0. Vinny Junior got the hook just after the hour mark, so Hakimi won that one. Chelsea had the last lap on PSG. Very early, I know, but 2 or 3 occasions already, Hakimi been going down that right-hand side. This time it's Lucas Paquetá who's lost the ball. And another opportunity. Unai sidesteps one challenge, then he had 3 more to get through. There was an opportunity to shoot first time round. He should have. Again, they waste the opportunity to have a perfect goal. Unahi this time. Again, Brazil sloppy, losing the ball. He's not getting a free kick for that. Should have got his shot away a lot earlier. Canus played a big part in that. Canus, Elanawi, Boadi, Diaz. They're really catching the eye early on. They're winning the midfield battle. Oh no. It's very sloppy. And again, Brazil giving the ball away in midfield, putting themselves under pressure. Sabari. It's come to Unahi. Boadi. Plays it back to Diop, and the Moroccan fans are giving it the Olays. 11 minutes in against Brazil. They're enjoying it, and so they should. They made a really, really good start to this game. They've been the best team by a mile. Look far more comfortable on the ball, comfortable in what they're doing in terms of the system. Canus. It's not gone far away. Masraoui joining in with this attack. Outside Bari makes his move. It's come off Marquinhos. Luka Mirage, nice and quick. And Lucas Paquetá, he draws the foul and a little bit of respite again. As you touched it like that, Bruno. No more than once they're watching Every he's very, very good at that. By Ayoub Boadi. In his Lille debut in October of 2023, 3 days after his 16th birthday. Currently doing a maths degree. It's a bright button. Actually, Carlo Ancelotti's son Davide will be watching him closely. He'll be his Lille boss next season. On the bench next to Dan today for Brazil. Those stats tell a story, don't they? 6 Morocco attempts to the 1 Brazilian. And possession as well. But for all of that, nothing to worry about yet. Not yet, not at all. That'll be the one thing that they'll have to improve on, look to improve on. Everything else has been good. Lucas Paquetá chased by Canus. Rafinha. Vinicius Junior. Rafinha makes his first into the middle. Vinicius Junior. That's his first run. That was missed by Thiago. Not like it was a chance. Oh, goodness me, you can just hear the roar of anticipation when Vinicius Junior gets the ball because they want him to run at the defender. He did that and get the ball in. That is a great ball. Thiago should have done better. Just gets it all wrong. He tries to glance it to the far post. Doesn't make the connection that he wants. Big chance. One of the big surprises in the Brazil lineup, named ahead of Manchester United's Mateus Cunha. Genuine target man. Genuine goal threat, having scored 25 for Brentford in the season just ended. For all our possessioners, love seeing how well Morocco have done in the early part of the game. The brilliance from Vinicius Junior. Can do that any time in the game, can't he? You just hear the roar of the crowd and he responded to that. Bruno Guimaraes. There's Marquinhos. Trying to find Rafinha, only finds Yassine Bonu. Some ball that distance. It's a foul. It's a by Igor Thiago. Looking for Morocco. There's that cross in there. Very, very good run. It's an absolute sitter. Should be in the back of the net. Winger did his job, but Vinicius Junior, what a ball in that was. You endorsed by Roberto Carlos and Ronaldo. Once upon a time, it was one of them to the other one. From left to the middle to the goal, many times. Incredible to think that Brazilian success since their heyday way back in 2002 has been thin on the ground. Bruno Guimaraes, a little spell on the ball for Brazil. Time to slow things down. His challenge, Brazil get the throw. Ibanez. Gabriel to Rafinha, who will keep on swapping with Vinicius Junior. Got hold of the ball, haven't they? Slowed it down ever since that chance. Playing the game at their pace. It's changed. Looked like it got out of play, but the assistant referee had the perfect view of it and decided otherwise. Vinny Junior, a smart turn. He finds Lucas Paquetá. Towards Rafinha, Igor Thiago will not get there before Bono does. See what he's trying to do there, Rafinha. It was a difficult ball to handle. He did his very, very best to try and get it into the path of Thiago, but it's just too much on it. Now the tail of the game is starting to change. Would not be surprised if Carlo Ancelotti is sitting there, one eyebrow raised, thinking, this is exactly how I saw it going. Weather a bit of a storm, take a bit of control. Seen it all, done it all, hasn't he? Be happy with that sort of thing, though. It keeps on happening. Masraoui. Nani dispossessed by Roger Ibanez. Rafinha, really good ball to Vinicius Junior. Picked off at the last by Hakimi, but oh, he enjoyed that service. Yeah, that was brilliant from Brazil. Really impressed as the team. Then that forward pass from Casemiro, and then another forward pass into Vinicius Junior, but really, really good defender. It had to be. It's a little bit of time taken to retrieve the ball, to slow things down before the corner. Didn't have the new laws about restarts. They're on goal kicks and throw-ins, not necessarily with corners. Referee will, first of all, keep a check of what's happening in the middle, but then eventually he will beckon Bruno Guimaraes to get on with it. What's the word first with Igor Thiago. His marker Neil Al-Bahoui. Plug in and didn't get to it, he was ready to. It's Vinicius Junior. Wanted to hit that first time, Vinicius Junior. Just had too much pace on it. And then his pass then to Paquetá. exactly the same, had too much pace on it too. Gabriel waves Douglas Santos forward from left back, forward and infield. Marquinhos. Hasn't been the easiest of balls for Lucas Paquetá. He's just barked something at Roger Ibanez in frustration. Move towards Saibari, and Saibari gets through and scores for Morocco! Straight down the middle. Brazil, unflicked, open right out. What about the clinical goal finish from Saibari as well? Morocco have been outstanding. Well, that pass and that finish are both absolutely outstanding. I thought Saibari was perhaps going to go around the goalkeeper, but he just runs straight through the middle of those two centre-halves. They are so wide open. He's got the option to go around the keeper, Alisson, because he's coming at him with pace. But no, the belief and the understanding and the confidence to lift it over him just like that. Perfection. It's a brilliant goal, it really is. And a moving moment for Mohamed Ouabi. The coach who is leading Morocco tonight for the first time in a competitive international. When you talk about two of the best centre-halves in the world in Marquinhos and Gabriel. Not there, they weren't. Could have driven 3 New York taxis between them. Or one Ismail Saibari, who's just come off the back of his best season yet with PSV Eindhoven, scoring 19 goals for them. What about that for a big one? One against Brazil at the World Cup. Well, Thiago had that big chance at the other end, and that's what Brazil have offered up to now. But that was the first big opportunity for Morocco. Saibari didn't waste it. Such a clever finish, it really is. That opening goal comes just before the first half hydration break here at the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Don't forget you can scan the QR code to dive into the live team and player stats from this game in the BB Sport app. You can do this after this and for every game throughout this FIFA World Cup. I think the stats, Alan, will just tell frustrated all at once. His team are playing against a nation who have come into this game having lost only one of their last 38 full internationals. And that was the one against Senegal in the African Cup of Nations final, which they were eventually awarded 3-0. Work that one out. This is against a Brazil side. The last time they lost an opening game in a World Cup was 1934. She came out with that one. I'll take that one off, shall I? I was saving that for later. Got it in first, sorry. Proves I've been reading the book anyway. Yeah, you've done well. 20 opening World Cup games unbeaten, 17 wins. Long way to go in this one yet. Put my hand over my notes so he can't read anymore. They're in my notes too. I just got it out first. Oh, it's going to be a long 6 weeks, isn't it? Played across towards Roger Ibanez, but a little bit too full. It's out for a Morocco throw. It'll be a long 90 minutes for him. Played at the World Cup in 1990. 4 years later, he was the assistant to Arrigo Sacchi here in the USA. He ended up runners-up to Brazil. Over at the Pasadena Rose Bowl on penalties in that Roberto Baggio moment. Here come Morocco again. A marauding Morocco. Hakimi's got a long, long way and they've dragged this shot. That deserved a flourish to finish. Brazil are all over the place. They're looking around at each other as if to say, who on earth should be closing him down? Again, the distance he travels without anyone coming to contact with him in a yellow shirt. And just inviting him to get his shot away. Hakimi. Ibanez to Rafinha. Casemiro had to battle. He needed too much time to begin with, and then he took too much time at the end. Too slow. Too slow on the ball. Got to move the ball quicker. Got to do exactly what Morocco did when they get the ball. Pass it forward quickly. What they're trying to do again with Hakimi prominent down the right-hand side. Unai. Buwadi shielding his eyes from the late evening sun. Played out by Douglas Santos. It will be a Morocco throw. There's something, Alan, strangely passive about Brazil. They look almost sickly. Well, I said before the game, when I did the radio interview, Radio 5, and the guys, I said my one concern would be the lack of legs in Brazil's midfield. And that's been the case up to now. They look tired. They look slow on the ball and ponderous. And there's too many red shirts are running past them. Arm on the back of Brahim Diaz and then the chop to the front. That means it's going to be a Morocco free kick and a chance again. Brazil have brought everybody back. I'm not surprised that Igor Thiago will be centre forward turned centre back for the next minute. Next moment. Everybody's got some. Chipped in nicely, they didn't see that run. Abel Nui. Nice little ball then again, and Sabari has it again. Won by Marquinhos. Brahim Diaz, it was careless again from Lucas Paquetá. Brazilian fans are going mad. They're angry, they're upset, they're hurting, you can hear them. They've got waving their arms in the air. Asking one of their players to show some responsibility and get on the ball and keep hold of the ball. The pattern keeps repeating. Marquinhos. Look at that. Casemiro again was just waiting for him. The reaction's terrible. Clever from Unai, just checked his pass, didn't play to Hakimi, who would have been offside. that time Nahida retrieves. It was Brahim Diaz who was pouring through once more. That's not turned particularly clear. Hakimi, though, has had a wild swing at it. And Brazil are all over the place and are very, very lucky to only be one down. You're absolutely right. They just can't get a hold of the ball. They keep giving it away when they do get it. They're being closed down. Morocco have got the energy. They've got a buzz about their game. Brazil are actually the opposite to that. They've got to liven up here, Brazil. Been run ragged. Nahi. Was that Tom Brady we just saw that? I think it was, yeah. FIFA very kindly furnished us with a list of attending celebrities pre-match. I got about 3 out of 30. Beat me by one then. He was one of the 3. Massively familiar with the work of Foot Crunch, but I'll do my homework next time. Here's Vinicius Junior. Very familiar with his work. He's got the chance to do some more of it. Vinicius Junior got some space! That's all he needed! A lightning bolt! Don't let him do that! Oliver Very gets around, makes his first mark on his first game of World Cup 2026. Morocco on top, now left looking down in a flash. A flash of Brazil #7. Just brilliant. You've got that ability. Bruno Guimaraes with a little ball in behind. And you said it, the one thing you cannot do is not let him come back inside onto that right foot. Because he'll endanger and put it in the top corner. The whip he gets on it, the pace he gets on it, he's got the defender where he wants him. And that shift onto that right foot there just opens the door so nicely for him. What Brazil have done is very little, but the 2 pieces of magic have come from that guy there. The cross in for Thiago, which he should have scored, and that brilliant finish. His 50th senior game for the Selection. It's only his 10th goal. By the end of this tournament, he might add it to that total significantly. On that evidence, he looks in the mood. Somebody needs to be in yellow. Well, if that doesn't liven them up, nothing will. Brazil 1, Morocco 1, and the open nature of the game continues. Here's Unai. Bari just enough on it for Hakimi, who's just been caught by Vinicius Junior. He was only a glance, but enough. But when you've been under huge pressure like Brazil have, you're looking to your star man to say, bail us out here. Because we've done nothing in this game really up until now. And all eyes are on him. Everyone's looking at him to produce something very, very special. And he did just that. Shows you where all the greatest players on the biggest stage are drawn from. A sumptuous assist from a man from Madrid with a Morocco goal. And then a bit of individual brilliance like that from another who plays at the Bernabeu for 1-1. Jose Mourinho, he's going to have some good players to work with. As if he didn't know. It's not a bad ball in, Alisson with not a bad bit of goalkeeping. Something away to Mesraoui. That's really good goalkeeping. That's what we have to do. We have to come to make it, and he did. Rafinha saw that he was thinking about the pass out to Mazraoui, so he cut off that route. It's all the way through to Alisson.
Well, he thought it was going to be good. Hasn't disappointed, has he?
Really good. You've got a Brazil hat on, you might say not for the right reasons, but for us it's just perfect. This is a test of Morocco's mettle now.
Brazil fans, as I said, were throwing their arms at the players in anger 3 or 4 minutes ago. They're now throwing them at them, cheering at them. Brought them back on side.
You might have gone too early with your Brazil opening game set. Over the head of Roger Ibanez.
You're getting like that now, just because I nicked it from you.
There's the changing in motion. Writ large across the features of Mohamed Wabi. Led the Moroccan under-20 side to win the under-20 World Cup as recently as last October. Quite a rapid rise through the ranks of the Royal Moroccan Football Federation. Saibari. Lanui. It's Diop. Hakimi gets it up to Brahim Diaz, and that's going to be a foul, and that's going to be the first yellow card of the game. Delivered to Casemiro, who's not been quite on pace from the start.
No, not at all. The referee let the first one go, and then a second or two later, Casemiro did that. And you can't let that one go.
Just need to get up to speed with 1 or 2 games, let's be honest. The second half of the season for Manchester United has been excellent. The rest of the Brazil players are focused on defending again. Fulham's Issa Diop, Crystal Palace's Chadi Ria joining the attacking party. Just a little bit too much to do, and look at Vinicius Junior. He's not just scoring great individual goals, he's the main cheerleader on the field as well. He's whipping up the crowd at every opportunity. Nothing whipped them up more than this, though.
Brilliant. Won't get fed up with seeing that. It's just the way he shifts it onto his right foot, know what he wants to do, but knowing what he's going to do and trying to stop him are two different things. Does it so quickly.
Because Paquetá's bundled off it, that's going to be a free kick. Tested by Neil Al-Alawi. Vinicius Junior. Marcus Paquetá. Back with Casemiro. Across to Marquinhos. Rafinha trying his luck down the right-hand side against Mazraoui, who's got his measure. Nicely collected by Lucas Paquetá. Bruno Guimaraes couldn't keep it. Paquetá goes back in to win it. Boadi. Just behind Saibari, whose breaks aren't that good.
He'll have a good fight in there, Boadi, you know. More than holding his own in that midfield.
Back comes Brahim Diaz on his Madrid colleague, Vinny Junior. Goes Vinicius Junior again. Exchanging passes with Lucas Paquetá. Igor Thiago finds Ibanez. Brazil now responding to the beat of their supporters' drums. It's not quite a samba, but they're building a rhythm.
I'll get hold of it better, Thiago, and that ball goes into him there. Can't afford to have another toe touch. You can't bounce off him like that. Marquinhos. Difficult one for Rafinha, watching it over his head, and Warner had the advantage of watching it into his gloves. I don't mind that though from Casemiro. At least he's now looking for that forward pass, the first time forward pass, rather than getting caught on the ball like he has done 3 or 4 times. Casemiro. This is Junior. Stopped in his tracks by Hakimi. New York's mayor is here to watch. He wasn't even on the list. I'm happy with myself for that. I'll give you a pat on the back for that one. And I know who he is. Mazraoui. It's overrun. This is Junior was a little bit lucky he didn't get hurt there, but Morocco didn't do anything wrong and they're away. They've got room. And as ever, they've got Hakimi there on the right-hand side. Brazil in the middle this time do close ranks, but they haven't made a great fist of clearing once more. They've got a free kick there. Lucas Paquetá just waiting for the inevitable contact from El Ainoui. Yeah, he knew what he was doing, didn't he? Just holding himself for that split second and waiting for that contact to go over and winning the free kick. Rafinha. This is Junior. Douglas Santos still there. Left-back's played 7 years in Russia. Been around a lot about Russia as a football nation just at the moment. In 7 years at Zenit St. Petersburg. Bruno Guimaraes was trying to win a corner. He's stopped better than that. He's kept the ball away from Mazraoui. Has he got a free kick? No. Still got the ball though. Trying to win a corner again. Guardi. Well, that was cool, but then he got very fortunate in that he didn't stick with Ibanez. Ibanez then finds himself on the wrong side of fortune. The referee says that's a foul on Brahim Diaz. And the yellow card. I don't think he had too many complaints. I think he knew what he was doing. Brahim Diaz was away. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Been the most straightforward of games for him. It's a bit tough, hasn't he? His 8th international cap.
Brazil yellow card consisting of 24 Roger Ibanez. Ibanez, yellow card, Brazil.
Casemiro. Guimaraes. This is Junior. Stopped by Boati. Nahi. Finds Diaz. Diaz played the ball into the space, chased it himself. Now he's in trouble. Rafinha. You can see the reaction of Bilal El-Khanousi. Thought it was a good tackle. Had to wrap himself around to get the ball. He ended up getting it. Yeah, just about to say that. He did end up getting the ball, but he had to make contact with the player. In doing so. Brazil free kick to the 45th minute. question many a team defending a set piece has asked all season long. Doesn't reach him. We have 4 minutes, at least 4 minutes of additional time at the end of the half. Douadi combining nicely and improvising well to keep possession for Morocco. Hakimi plays older than his 18 years, Desire Douadi. Been really impressed with him, running off the ball as well as on the ball. Really, really vulnerable Brazil on the counter-attack. As soon as they lose that ball, with the pace and the energy that Morocco have, feel as if they can hurt them. Diop steers it back Bono's way. Greatest of clearances from Morocco's greatest ever goalkeeper. The skilled Lucas Paquetás, very well appreciated around the stadium. Douglas Santos, there's Lucas Paquetá, just springing out to Brazil on the corner. Went for the spectacular. The ball was behind him. Just see him setting himself for it. Got a second or two to make his mind up and decide what he's going to do. He tries the spectacular, just tries to guide it into that far corner. It's a good save. Just a little bit more power would have done it. Genius giving himself the maximum possible distance of a runner, which isn't a big one. Whips it in, that's flicked across to nowhere. Goal kick Morocco. Marquinhos begs to differ. Such a wicked ball to deal with. Pace in and then the flick on. You're just hoping that someone in a yellow shirt is going to get on the end of it. Which can't. Marquinhos' claim was never going to gain any ground. The new FIFA laws on corners are that corners that have been wrongly awarded can be overturned, but you can't give one that's not been given that should have been. I'm not sure my explanation made sense, and neither does the director to me. If you know it's a corner or a goal kick, just give it accordingly. Few things we can see in that one Hong Kong. Vinicius Junior. To a cul-de-sac. It's Hakimi. Hakimi's not got far, and that's the benefit of a referee's whistle, which you can hear the Brazilian reaction around the stadium too. Free kick Morocco and a little glance up at the big screen and at the clock, most importantly from Hakimi. Good defending, really good defending from Hakimi. You can hear the raw demand. Look at that, Alan. And that's what Vinicius Junior's arms are up in the air for. Yeah, he's high. That's exactly why. It's a tough one to spot for the referee, though. But I was just about to say about the expectation. You can hear it, can't you? He's their guy. As soon as he gets the ball, Vinicius Junior, there's a roar. They want him to run at the defenders. Alisson. That's it for the first half of the only game of this World Cup for Brazil and for Morocco. Well, that's giving you enough encouragement to keep your long Saturday night going and get yourself ready and pumping for ATV Scotland later, because what a first half that was. Two superb goals. Saibari opening the scoring for Morocco. 11 minutes later, one just as good, if not better. The individual brilliance of Vinicius Junior. At the break, it's Brazil 1, Morocco 1.
We'll be back with Guy and Alan for the second half in that game, but it's been a really enjoyable first half. Yes, they're level as they head into the break, but Morocco, despite not having as much possession of Brazil, have had the better of it. They've had more shots. They've had the same number of shots on target, but they've had the better of the chances. It's just been an all-round really entertaining game, Joe.
Yeah, it's been fascinating. Two contrasting styles. Morocco so organised, so disciplined in how they play and deserve the lead. And you've got that brilliant Brazilian flair. What an unbelievable goal from Vinicius Junior.
I mean, it's pretty much how we thought this one might go, guys.
Yes, set up fine. Yes, I'm surprised, happily surprised. Morocco started the game very well. They look better technically than the Brazilians, which is a surprise. And the game plan is working better. The problem that against Brazil, that they got individuality. They got one player or two players that in one action they can turn the game around, because nobody was expecting the ball from Vinicius at that time. He touched the ball 2 or 3 times. So it's a great game. Tactically, it's probably Ancelotti got more to work in halftime, but Morocco so far happy, no?
Yes, I am. I think that they show why they are so respected in world football. They play the game, not the event, and from the first kickoff of the match, they were there pressing, winning the ball high, and showing that they're here to win the game, and whoever is in front, even if it's Brazil, will give them a good run for their money.
Yeah, like you said, there was a danger that they might have been overawed by the occasion, by the opposition. It was absolutely not the case, and there were a couple of really good chances early on where we saw what they might be capable of in this game.
Yes, of course. As you can see, Morocco kept the ball during this first half. Technically, very great ability. El Kanous on the left-hand side, who's been playing instead of El Zalzouli, managed to keep the ball. Short passing. Mazraoui on the left side managed to tuck in, put the ball back, and here I just think that Nael El Anuyawi didn't get a proper hit on the ball because he's just at the edge of the 18-yard box, and that was a clear action. And here again, as you can see, this time on the other side, Morocco have the control of the ball. Great pass here for Hakimi, and unfortunately, there's no Moroccan in the box, and he has to shoot, and he's very close.
Alan Shearer was saying in commentary that it was a great ball in. There was just nobody there. You can hear the frustration from someone who was as successful as a striker as Alan was, but there was nobody there to meet that ball. But there have been some really good opportunities for Morocco even before they got the opening goal.
Yes, I like the way they plan the game. It's not easier for a coach to go and say, okay, we play against Brazil, first game of the World Cup, let's have a go from the beginning, because it can work against you. And they were very brave, very good on the ball, creating chances until they got the goal that probably at that time they deserved.
Iko Thiago's got 22 goals in the Premier League this season, only 2 of them from headers. Did we see more evidence of that when he had the opportunity for Brazil?
Yeah, well, we cannot say too much what I say after his miss of air, but I would be very disappointed myself at least, missing the ball, because I think it's a perfect cross, and the running, he's making a good run. Look, he ran away, and the ball is in front of him. It looked like I don't know, he missed it completely. He would be disappointed with that, because that is why he's playing today, to have that presence on the box.
That'll be everything he dreamed of before the game, Gus, wouldn't it? Getting that mini movement up against Hakimi, and it was just on a play. I thought he just got his feet wrong. He didn't quite get to the ball and probably saw the goal before it happened.
But that was the sort of pattern of the game, that Morocco had quite a few chances, they created a lot, and then Brazil had those individual moments. Morocco did eventually get their goal, and yes, it was an excellent finish. It was also a really good pass for them to get that win, to get that goal rather from Saibari.
Yes, as we can see from the start here, Morocco, the 2 pivots, El Anuyawi press and with El Kanous. Here there's a pass straight in the middle, and now Brahim Diaz just had his head up, and he plays this ball between the 2 centre-backs, and Saibari knows he's got better pace, and he could take the goalkeeper's on. He decided to chip it above the goalkeeper, and legitimately, I think Morocco are ahead in this game, and it's well deserved.
Yeah, really well deserved, and a really well taken goal. Were there issues, do you think, from a Brazilian defensive point of view as well?
Well, I think Gus was talking about it before. Qatar gave the ball away a lot in the first half and really struggled. But as they turned over, it's a brilliant finish by Saibari, of course it is. But as Diaz threads it through Marquinhos and Gabriel, we're going to see in a minute that Gabriel, his attention, he's immediately worried about that running Hakimi, so his body is open and ready for that right-hand side by Morocco, which means he can slide it through the middle, and the immediate Gabriel realises he's in trouble, and then Alisson gets stuck. So as we see it here, if the ball turns over, we talked about Paquetá getting it nicked off him in the midfield a lot. Now Diaz receives it on the half turn, and there's immediate problems. And we'll see Gabriel, he's so used to that right-hand side, he's so used to Hakimi charging up and down, his body's open, which means Diaz can be slightly more his side, which rules out Marquinhos. Gabriel's got nowhere, and then Alisson gets caught in that kind of no man's land. Can I cut it out? Can't I? But take nothing away from that finish. Absolutely brilliant and a huge moment.
Yeah, they were allowed the opportunity, but it was still excellently taken by them, Gus.
No, it was very good. I mean, in terms of Morocco, perfect. You get the ball back, you find a midfielder who is very good on the ball, and the perfect run from the striker. I would be disappointed if I was one of the two central defenders. You know, we call it like when you're in an easy possession of the ball, you can be open and wide and try to be expansive. But as soon as the ball is not clean, you need to be marking and you need to defend the ball. As Joe said perfectly, Gabriel is running away from goal. What about Hakimi, who is coming 30 yards? The danger is the striker who is running straight in the middle. But until then, Morocco was the best team, so totally deserved.
You did want to see more from Vinicius Jr., it's fair to say.
I was complaining, to be honest. I was complaining.
I was defending.
Yes, he was.
But that was the conversation, which is that Vinicius Jr. can be quiet for large, long moments in games, and then, when he gets the opportunity, he delivers.
And that's the beauty of it. Hakimi threatens, and it wasn't there in the goal, but here he's obviously on the outball for Morocco, and Vinicius, he just smells blood, doesn't he? He's up against El Yaoui when he gets the ball back here. Oh, this is electric. We saw him go on the outside when Hakimi was there. He knows he can get on the inside. He doesn't even lift his head up. Electric goal, brilliant finish, massive moment.
And Hakimi's been playing really high, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I think Vinicius would have known that Hakimi wasn't there. Like I say, he went on the outside when he was. He knows he can get in. He doesn't look up once. It's a brilliant angle. Bono will just be trying to make himself as solid as he possibly can, but I just love how Vinicius, that's his comfort zone. That's where he feels his best. Not looked once at the goal for any young players at home. He knows the angles. He knows what to do. Brilliant.
You've got to appreciate the finish of that, but also you've got to look at the way that Morocco is setting up and look at the position of Hakimi and how high he is up the pitch.
Yes, I think that's how Morocco plays. You know, in transition, they know that Brazil will have most of the ball, but they need to attack, and that's how they created big chances. And I think on the right-hand side, they know that Hakimi, that's one of his qualities, done it all season with PSG, and he needs to take the channel with Brahim Diaz tucking inside. But obviously, when you've got Vinicius on your side, you will expose yourself. Now it's the team, the defense, to move and to try to cover behind Hakimi. But Morocco are here to play. We're not just going to stay at the back and defend on Vinicius all the match. So we need to create chances, and I think it's the best way to play against Brazil.
All square at half-time then between Brazil and Morocco in this Group C game. Remember, this is Scotland's game as well. They kick off at 2 o'clock in the morning against Haiti in their first World Cup in 28 years. Here's Kevin Bridges.
I'm on a journey that has brought me here, to the most famous football country in the world, Brazil. Can the game I once fell in love with excites again? I'm Kevin Bridges, and I am in search of a beautiful game. Watch on BBC.
Not too much longer to go, Scotland fans. The Haiti game follows this one. The coverage will begin at 1:10. And then tomorrow night, it's Ivory Coast against Ecuador in Group E. That's from 11:15 on BBC One and iPlayer. Germany's first game against World Cup debutants Curaçao is live on BBC Sounds at 6 o'clock. And the Scottish Football Podcast is also available right now on BBC Sounds. And there is, and will be, plenty to talk about.
The boys are back in town, the boys are back in town.
Reach get rich. We're going to expand the organisation. Me and Connor are going to be the drivers.
A new series of The Young Offenders. Watch now on BBC iPlayer.
Scotland Ireland are on their way to the ground. Less than 2 hours to go until they kick off their first World Cup campaign since 1998. They're going to be up against Haiti in Boston, looking sharp, suited and booted. They will be hoping that their game is as crisp when it gets underway against Haiti. Here's a little something to get you in the mood. When you've waited 28 years, you can wait another couple of hours. Not long until Scotland against Haiti gets underway. Only a couple of minutes until the second half gets underway between Brazil and Morocco. Our South American football expert Tim Vickery rejoins us. Tim, some of the Brazil fans in the stadium were getting quite frustrated, certainly at the beginning of that first half. What's the reaction been to that Brazil performance?
Well, this is precisely why Brazil are so dangerous. And how many teams can play that badly and still be in the game? And as Senor Poget said, it's the individuality. And ideally, you want the team to make the stars. Here, you have a case of the stars saving the team. And Vinny goes outside and lays one on for Igor Thiago, cuts inside and plants one into the far corner. How do you mark someone like that? But he's papering over the cracks because so little is working for Brazil. They're playing whack-a-mole. They're light in midfield. All sorts of problems down the right-hand side. The initial idea is for Rafinha and Vinny to combine. It's not working. They've got nothing down the right, so Rafinha has to now come out to the right. They're trying to find solutions during the course of the game. They're being outplayed. But you know what? There's plenty more individual talent to come off the bench and maybe win this game. You can never discount Brazil. That individual talent can always come to the rescue.
Tim Vickery, thank you very much. It has been a great team performance from Morocco. Some great individual moments from Brazil. It is 1-1 at half-time. Can Morocco still manage to control this second half and potentially take all 3 points from this, Hassan?
I think that they need to be better on the ball, to try to slow down the game when they got the ball and keep the ball and try to score when you got a chance. But the game's playing on. There is some fantastic players on the bench for Brazil, so I fear with time that Brazil will take their chances. So it's still 1-1, we're still there, and hopefully we can carry on like we did in the first half.
Taking you through the second half then, Alan Shearer, first of all, Guy Mowbray.
Thank you, Kelly, and welcome back, everyone. And just a handy reminder that to enjoy the World Cup and everything else on BBC TV, radio, BBC Sounds and online, you need a TV licence. So if yours needs renewing, you can scan the code that's on your screen now to do so.
be a bit of a renewal for Brazil as well, because they are readying at least one change, and I think there might be two for the start of the second half. We've seen Fabinho, ex-Liverpool, 3 years in Saudi Arabia now. He's been out warming up for the duration of half-time. And Danilo, ex of Manchester City and now back in Brazil with Flamengo, is going to come on as well. And the two booked are the two hooked, because it's Casemiro and Rocha Ibanez who are making way. And bookings aside, Alan, I don't think there's too much argument anyway.
No, not at all. I think both players had a really poor first half. Not enough pace to the game. Ibanez didn't offer enough, certainly defensively and going forward.
Last time these sides met in March 2023, it was a friendly international played in Tangier. Morocco led, Brazil equalised. Casemiro got the goal, actually, won't be doing that today. And then Morocco won the game, their only success in 3 previous meetings. Thiago's still up there, despite not having too many touches of the ball in that first 45 plus 5.
Touch that should have been back of the net. Didn't get the connection, did he, with that header? I was impressed with that, by the way. Booked and booked.
Just bask in the glory of that faith praise for a little while. For a pass to open the ball. It's unexpected in the country, particularly the city that gives you everything. The PA system is absolutely, I wouldn't say deafening. It's booming. Very efficient. I think you'll hear about the substitutions before we call them. Rafinha. Faced by Mazraoui. Mazraoui takes issue with the assistant referee's verdict of corner. It's not for moving. It is going to be a Brazil corner.
Positive though from Rafinha, getting the ball and straight away going at the defender.
Bono is being given as much space as he wants. No real pressure. Gabriel is stopped from getting anywhere near him for now. The referee blows his whistle and he's going to draw Gabriel over. Or he's not, he's going to have a word. First of all, with his marker, Chadi Riyad. It will be time for the delivery. It's blocked. It's going to be another corner, isn't it? Yeah. Same side.
Similar corner in the first half. Remember the one that was flicked on at that near post? Something they're trying to do. Leaving the space in the front for 2 or 3 to attack in there.
Marquinhos to try and flick it. Nobody got any touch of great significance. Here's Vinicius Junior. Twisted a turn, but he can't get past this time. And Diaz ganged up on in the end, but it's going to be a Morocco throw. It was nicely carried away in the first instance by El Khanous. Morocco, even though they've been pegged back, don't have to change too much, I would suspect.
Very happy with the vast majority of that first half. Trying to keep it going again.
Try and counter your stat with a Morocco one. They have failed to win their first game at all 6 World Cups that they've played in.
Wasn't as good as mine.
This Paquetá. Play brought back. Morocco free kick. Guimaraes wanders away from the scene of his crime. Ooh, naughty. See 2 of those now.
今のドルバリバランスのいいところなんじゃないですか。さっきのハキミとかあれよりはさっきのハキミの右シュートっていうやつは
So, TV.
It's the forward. Safari waiting in the middle, the only Morocco player in there right now, and the big force all the way back. All the way back. Hakimi. Is the return to him, and a gap appears for him. That's a good tackle. And it had to be perfectly timed as well. And here's Vinicius Junior. Who's going to tackle him? Diop stands away. Vinicius Junior getting closer to goal before chipping across and booted clear by Nusay Mazraoui.
Look, when he gets that ball, there was 2-3 players around him trying to stop him.
There we go. Yes, it's good. Thank you. Lovely. Watching out for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go, go, go!
Wanted him to feed him, didn't he? Didn't want him behind.
Lovely. Do you want me to speak to you on the cord on the headset, or are you not bothered about it? Yeah.
Frantic chewing. The ground man.
Said something today which does not surprise me, saying that in Brazil, the job of head coach of the national team, oh, what a chance! Paulo gets his hands up. That came quickly.
Half the Moroccan team were looking at the ball like went out of play. Brazil just grabbed another one straight away and took the quick throw in.
Me too, as you can tell.
Caught them by surprise.
Lucas Paquetá. Danilo. Here's Rafinha. Looks to be going down that right-hand side since half-time, and he's made some room, but easily cleared. Brazil throwing.
Positive again though. 1v1. Straight at Mazraoui. Gets to the byline and puts the ball in the box. Better.
Just question, was that where the ball went out? Quick thinking.
Yeah.
Lucas Paquetá. Vini Junior. Bruno Guimaraes. To go straight through two. Brahim Diaz. Some coming together between Mazraoui in the middle, but no free kick, and now it's Vinicius Junior who does get a free kick. No, he doesn't. Advantage Brazil. Igor Thiago lets it run. Vinicius Junior has it wrestled away from him by Hakimi. Hakimi then blocked off, and Morocco getting the decision.
Well, the ref did really well and he allowed play to carry on. Could have blown for the free kick.
Clear foul by Fabinho.
Was when they won it back, yeah.
Vincic a lucky charm when he's the referee for Vinicius Junior. He's the ref for the Champions League final at Wembley in 2024 when Vinicius Junior scored in Madrid's 2-0 win against Dortmund. One of the most experienced officials at the tournament. These Brazilian drums are beginning again. Seem to work in the
trying to draw a foul. Well, never mind trying, he just does it.
Yeah. And see it. It's very difficult though when you've got to go in and you've got to commit yourself to the challenge. You can't let him go away easily. You've got to try and put that tackle in, but he knows that and he just gets his body across and wins the free kick. Marquinhos. Gabriel. A little bit slower this 10 minutes, hasn't it, the second half? Both teams have slowed it down a little bit. Dos Santos to Gabriel, now Fabinho. One head replacing another with him replacing Casemiro at the break. Fabinho. Danilo, another old head who was trying to get forward, but Morocco closed up on him successfully. No way through. They won't let them go through. I think you take that one. Pass. Notice that watching the games on the US coverage. Oh, that's going to be a free kick. Well, there was a chance being taken, that's for sure, by Enow. Paid the price in terms of pain, nearly in terms of a goal. Thiago just thought he could get there, he just thought he could get his toe to him, just that split second too late.
We've noticed there's been quite a preoccupation with finding the famous faces in the crowd at a lot more regular intervals than we tend to do with the European coverage.
Last night it was a who's who, wasn't it, all around the stadium?
Now in Los Angeles I found it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
David Beckham was there. My knowledge tends to be slightly shallow.
Brian Diaz.
Diaz can't go any further. And Diaz claims that he's taken an arm to the face. The referee's happy for the game to go on. Bruno Guimaraes. Then Gabriel, who pirouettes to find Alisson. Morocco starting to hunt.
Pressing them high.
Rafinha. Brian Diaz is soldiering on. The next decision goes to Brazil. This was it. Fingers to well, it was more or less the chin rather than the eyes. Well, maybe the side of the nose.
Not lying anyway.
No. Rafinha. That's through him. Trying to time his challenge, he didn't. Didn't make any challenge. Vinicius Junior. Fabinho. Dos Santos. It's interesting again there, to the degree of the break, saying about that first half was how it's been for Brazil. The stars leading the team. Now it looks more of a team this half.
Not creating too much though.
No. Vinicius Junior is the man for that, but he's failed in his task on that occasion. Safely away to Issa Diop. Issa Diop beats Igor Thiago. Alisson was sticky about getting that. Gabriel did it for him.
The ball went short for the ball. He chose to go long and there's no one there.
Kouadi. Enow. Unai.
bit too much on it. Dwighty then takes a chance but shows great confidence against Vinicius Junior. He's back at him to Barger. There you go, the 18-year-old has got a reaction from one of the best players on the planet.
Again, he's impressed me. But should have been a simple pass that from Rafinha to Guimaraes. He makes the run, just gets too much on it. Too quick.
Double Brazil substitution. Matheus Cunha is coming on, and we think pretty certainly that will be for Igor Thiago. Lucas Paquetá, meanwhile, has gone off. That is the first change. Igor Thiago is going off. And the other player to come on is going to be Luis Enrique. Another one from Zenit in the Russian top flight. He has ostensibly replaced Paquetá, and it's Matheus Cunha replacing Igor Thiago. Did you sense that change coming?
Yeah. A little bit surprised it didn't happen sooner. Hasn't done a lot in the game. I know I've said he missed that big chance, but other than that, not really offered anything.
What does mean with Luis Enrique going out to the right is that Rafinha will once again be more central. What a goal scorer he's become since Hansi Flick arrived at Barcelona following his move there from Leeds. That's Rafinha's move. 21 goals last season, 34 the year before that. He's a pretty handy player at Ellen Road too. Played by Bono. About to see a Morocco reaction to the Brazil changes. Bruno Guimaraes. That's given it. Bruno thinks it should be more than just a free kick. That's what the ref saw. Yellow card down. Not at all. Fabinho did. Oh no, Fabinho's been asked to leave the field because he's taken a blow to the mouth, as you can clearly see. So that will have to be tidied up, and he'll have to be off for a minute. Didn't see how that came about. So 2 Morocco substitutions. It's going to be Shemsdeen Talbi and Samir El Mouravet to come on. Maybe Morocco might delay those changes and play the minute without Fabinho. Villa El Khanis will leave the action, and so too will Unai. Both had a really good first half, have been a great deal quieter in the second.
Say that about a lot of people out on the pitch at the minute, though, couldn't you?
Moura went to Strasbourg, only 19. This is his 5th senior appearance, his competitive debut. Shemsdeen Talbi, well, we know all about in the northeast of England, having had a successful first season in the Premier League with Sunderland. One of 12 Black Cats to be playing at this World Cup, which is 2 more than the Real Madrid contingent have.
Anyone think you're a Sunderland fan, guy?
No, I'm just putting it out there for your northeast knowledge to shine.
Yeah, they had a great season for Sunderland, didn't they? I mean it.
The teeth were not even gritted. I think that's for you.
They absolutely did.
Fabinho's still off, and he's having to get a fresh shirt. The nose has been plugged.
Not in team.
There's Allison. Luis Enrique's been hauled to the floor. Good play. Quick. Good of the ref to let them play as well. Mateus Cunha on to make a difference. He'll just give them that little bit more than he got, Thiago. Who's there will come, I'm sure. I mean, it's such a successful campaign with Brentford. Already making his mark with 2 penalties scored for Brazil in his first 3 games.
Slightly surprised when he didn't start, actually.
A lot of Brazilians were too. There's Rafinha. It was a beauty. It needed defending and it was. Stanley by Rio. Luis Enrique. Fired across, well that was the idea. Masraoui made sure it didn't get there.
He didn't have too many options though, did he? That's why I think he went for pace.
Dos Santos. And this is Junior. There's Cunha. Missed.
Brilliant ball across. Again, they choose to go with pace. Jimenez whips that ball across. Just can't get on the end of it.
Nice thing, I thought it was Mateus Cunha's. Bruno Guimaraes, who hasn't got forward that often like that. But starting to now, which bodes well for Brazil.
I was thinking, who's going to be brave? Who's going to perhaps produce that piece of magic to go on and try and win this game?
Towards the midway point of the second half, so whilst there is a delay in the game, I think the referee will call the hydration break for this half. There we are. You can see the code on your screen here now, and you can have your say by scanning it on who's stood out for you in the game with BBC Sports player rating. Alan might be able to guide you through who he thinks has stood out so far on both sides.
It's pretty obvious for Brazil, isn't it? Vinicius Junior. I mean, really impressed, as I've said 2 or 3 times now, with Guardi in the midfield. And everything he's done. But there's definitely not as much excitement, there's not as much energy from either side in the second half as there was in the first half.
What are we on a path towards? Brazil look as though they've got more control of the game now, but as you said a few times, still no significant threat.
No, I mean, they had that ball that was whipped across there from Jimenez without anyone getting on the end of it. When you look at that, just having another look at that goal again, the pass from Diaz and the finish from Saibari was, as I said, absolutely superb, as was that. We haven't seen too much of that in this second half, if any at all.
Reminiscent, but from the other side of Folarin Balogun's goal for the USA last night in their fantastic opening win against Paraguay. That really did get the tournament going last night, didn't it?
Superb, wasn't it? Great performance at everything, it really did. A bit of both, and then being superb. Paraguay not so good. Disappointment.
I think we can all agree that it was an outstanding performance from Mauricio Pochettino's United States team. But it's interesting to watch the reaction on the local media this morning, watching the news channels and the sports anchors all saying, well, proof there that the USA will be the team to watch at this Soccer World Cup. So they are up for it now.
Well, they were right from the very first minute. They were at it. Great energy, great appetite to go and win that game. Scored a couple of superb goals.
There's a lovely view of this incredible arena. You can see to the right, towards the top, the white seats. That's where most of the media are sitting. We're right near the top of that. This is high. Very, very high. You put your sun cream on, didn't you?
That's been hot, hasn't it?
Perfect temperature now. It's where at 7:30 in the evening in New Jersey.
This is the man who's sat in his chair, not running around on the pitch.
Yeah. It's been a real eye-opener, hasn't it?
first few days into just how difficult it's going to be. But then I can't recall too many World Cups when it's not been like that. It's a bit of a misjudgment. After a good bit of work from El Morabet. This is Junior. Just a push from Buati. He's still down. Again goes on without him. There is Buati finding Hakimi. Another thing I did hear watching the local coverage last night was after one of the hydration breaks, the phrase came, "That's the end of the first quarter," and I thought, oh no, here we go. Into the room. There's Diop. He told me on the pub last night anyway. Watching the game. There's Talvik. Masraoui. Saibari, he's got it, and it's blocked. It's going to be a corner. In fact, it's not. The flag's up for offside. Yeah, again, the running behind. I'm just thinking, can the way to pass find him? Just. It's a good run, though. Gabriel. As it returns. Santos. That's it, Cunha. This is Junior claiming he was being held. Look at this Morocco. It wouldn't roll for Saibari. Slow onto it, he kept that Gabriel, wasn't he? Still from a long way where that ball was coming. Still didn't get on the end of it. Buati. Back to Bono. Buati demanding the ball. Getting it through, up towards Hakimi. Diop. It's an easy comparison because of the hair, but Buati's reminding me of Matteo Guendouzi, the former Arsenal midfielder. Industrious at the heart of it all. I think he looks a better prospect though. Jones has got quality, hasn't he? He's for it every time. It's the option to get on the ball. It's Buati again. Running away from Bruno Guimaraes. Hakimi. Lovely Morocco football. Saibari has Talvi ahead of him. Options to the left include first Masraoui. Morabet was showing for it. Masraoui now with a chance to deliver. Fabinho with a no-nonsense boot at the touch. Yeah, not messing around at all. Good positioning from Fabinho though. That could have been a dangerous situation with that ball coming in. He reads it well. Buati. Bono. Saibari, plenty of time for Marquinhos and Alisson to sort that out. Again, he went short for it. He didn't want it over the top. He wanted it short. Ancelotti just Vinicius Junior's left, just screaming at Cunha to get across and make himself available. Marquinhos. He's been level tonight.
overtaken Lucio. He's gone to 106 caps. Next in his sights will be Thiago Silva on 113. So Brazil go all the way. This is Junior. Lost it. Talvi. Saibari. This is Junior, goes all the way from left to right, trying to make amends for giving away the ball.
He had to, didn't he?
Right now, the noise is telling us that it's a full house in New Jersey, New York. 80,663. Riyad. Hakimi. Talbot. The spell of Moroccan possession. Saibari. Bundles his way through with Talbi's assistance. Talbi across.
No one in there. No one at all.
Morocco enjoying a spell. With 13 minutes of the 90 to go. Well, Brazil just saving themselves for one great steam to the finish. Well, they're just out of steam.
Well, you just wonder whether both teams in the last 15 minutes or so will be quite content and not take too many risks. Be content with the draw. Or is someone going to be brave? Go for the win.
Matheus Cunha. Vinicius Junior will get there. Diop allowed him to. And it's straight at Bono. Rafinha decided he had to swing and hit first time, and he never really looked to see where to put it.
Great ball down the line from Cunha into Vinicius Junior. And then he pulls it back with that. It's a really, really difficult angle, particularly when you're running away from goal. You've got to try and somehow swivel your body and get the pace in the direction. It's going to be very, very difficult to do that from that angle, to beat the keeper.
Bono's down. Fascinated by these new directives, because we've been told that when a goalkeeper goes down, players cannot go to the technical area to have a word with the coaches, but what if you have? Taking on water, which you can't deny them in these temperatures. And I think in this instance it is a genuine reason to go down. So we're having an impromptu extra hydration break. As Brazil get Danilo, the other Danilo Santos ready to come on. The one was at Nottingham Forest. Two Moroccan changes imminent as well. Anas Salah Eddin and Ayoub Amamouni. Almost back to his feet. Brazil will make their change if Bruno Guimaraes goes off. Casman replaced by Danilo. Back in Brazil with Botafogo, and he's been really shining for them. Time at Nottingham Forest disrupted by a really horrible ankle injury. Shining at the City Ground quite often as well, though, before he went back home. Knocked down by Douglas Santos. Is Fabinho. Gabriel.
10 minutes to go. An increasingly slow in game, but that is understandable.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There'll be a few like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Something though opening for Morocco once more. Talby's gone over to the left-hand side to have a go there. Cross doesn't get very far. Boadi. And with Diot. Here's Vinicius Junior. Rafinha. Riyad goes with it. Vinicius Junior's gone across with Rafinha. Danilo. Douglas Santos. Mateus Cunha. Breezing past the challenges, and he's won a corner for Brazil.
They've done really, really well. A couple of minutes ago, he played that great ball down the left-hand side, and then again he picks the ball up, and it's really positive and goes out the defence. With a corner.
Oh, I don't think he has, you know. Well, it's gone the other way. Worked. Corner wrongly awarded. Well, there we go. Morocco were adamant. The referee got the word. No, other way. And so it's turned around.
He's brought him forward.
That just seems like common sense. 8 minutes to go. Sure, many of you are already turning your thoughts towards, I think your thoughts might have always been on Haiti against Scotland, which is on the way following this game. Oh, Brazil could be on the way to a winner. No. Bonu was ready and waiting.
Just wonder whether he could have gone in on the side, tapping it on. Rafinha.
Bonu was already hurt actually as he went in to make that vital challenge.
Sloppy.
From Diot, yeah, really sloppy. Cooper's only just got back to his feet after being treated a few moments ago and
Catches him with his arm, doesn't he?
yeah, Rafinha beat to it, that's all. Let off from Fulham defender Issa Diot.
Might have had a slide up there for the keeper if that was a 50-50 ball.
So we see Bonu is down again. Keeper you will remember all his success in 11 years in Spain, particularly his 4 that he spent at Sevilla, twice a Europa League winner. He's been in Saudi for 3 years now at Al Hilal.
Still in front.
Tentative with his shoulder. Six minutes down, the 90 to go. Now I think another 5 or 6 to be added on. 1-1 between the team ranked 6th in the world, Brazil, and the team ranked 7th, Morocco. You are thinking about putting Munir Al-Kachawi into the game. He did play once at the last World Cup. That was in 2-0 win against Belgium. That's because Bono was injured, not just in the warm-up actually, after he lined up for the anthems. There's another one I know that wasn't on the list. There you go. 2 in fact, Zidane and Son.
Best player I ever played against.
And you know what? I think one of the best players I ever watched at the '98 World Cup that you played at for England and that he won with France. Seeing him in the flesh, particularly in that final at the Stade de France against Brazil. For a big man, he was almost balletic.
Touch, technique, quality, balance. Just magnificent he was.
Mateus Cunha. penalty, was being held on to, but wasn't having it. Didn't wait for the ref, just got away and ran away, but now he's given it away. Dos Santos back to Gabriel, Allison. They've got the energy reserves left. This game is there to be won by either team. Both next in action on Friday. Morocco against Scotland in Boston. 11 p.m. kickoff for that one, UK time. And Brazil take on Haiti even later in Philadelphia. Hakimi. What's the wear? There's two injury scrapes. Rouhati has time to applaud the pass before taking it. I think we're in the city where they've used the word he's got some cojones. Got some ability.
Definitely got ability, there's no doubt.
Marquinhos, a lazy sort of clearance. Anything like that might just give the Moroccans an extra bit of encouragement. Seize upon it, but well, he's certainly got energy to burn still.
Yeah, the team aren't passing it around, the other team are looking to get forward. As we've seen in the first half, they have to be very, very careful if they're going to do that. Can't leave that door open. The players that Brazil have got, particularly Vinicius Junior, we've seen a piece of brilliance and it could be over.
If anything, Morocco, are they just lacking the opponent to play?
Yeah. We've not seen enough quality in the final third in the second half from either team, really. Plenty of passes, plenty of people getting on the ball, but as yet,
here's a Maimouni. He's back in the challenge, but it's going to be a Brazil throw-in.
I was just waiting for him to bend one in the top corner then. Just as I said, there's not been enough quality up front.
Well, they're going to make a change at the top end of the goal scorer. Ismail Saibari is going off. Quite a second half, but he did enough in the first.
Absolutely. Malone played his part in what Morocco have done today. Great finish. Clever.
It's going to be Sofian Rahimi who comes on to replace him. Same sort of level as experience, but he's 5 years Saibari's senior. Said that his words were yesterday, talking to the assembled world media, we'll do everything possible to make Moroccan fans happy and to honour Moroccan football with a fighting spirit. Well, ticking the box, Mohamed Wabi, you've done that. Morocco look as good a bet as any that we've seen in recent World Cup tournaments to finally be the ones to break the duck for Africa. Running on the evidence of this, they'll go on and win the World Cup, but they'll be tough to beat. Not yet win this opening game. Only takes one chance.
We knew that, didn't we? Getting to the semi-final 4 years ago, we knew that they were going to put up a good fight. Now they have got quality in there.
Test cricket is tripped. It's going to be a free kick for Brazil. Ceremoniously stopped in his tracks. Oh, the mystical double figures. 10 added on to the end. So there has to be time to go again for all those out there on the field.
Keeper's been down a couple of times, hasn't he, as well? That's why Marquinhos. Around the corner for Rafinha. Rafinha pulls it back and it's flicked over the head of Vinicius Junior. Rafinha very quickly sized up it wasn't on for him from the angle. And he suddenly realised he didn't have any other option again. Realised he was on his own and that's why he stopped. He couldn't shoot and he had to hold it. Pulled him away. Fabinho. Is this the start of the Brazil push to the end? It's Vinicius Junior. They've got a corner. Good defending from Hakimi. 1v1 again. He's not letting him past him. On this occasion, he does give the corner away. Seen a couple already, haven't we, that they've tried to whip them to that near post for the flick on. Wonder whether they'll try and do something similar. Cunha's in charge of it. Cunha waits on the edge of the box, but it seems very likely that he'll be ignored. This will be into the mixer. And that comes from Cunha, there comes Bono to get two hands to it. Cunha. Corner again. Cunha again. Bono's going to join in this time. It was just Marquinhos and Gabriel for the last one. And Bono again. Decisively gets it out of his area. Look at the room here for Danilo Santos. He did try from the angle. Marquinhos wanted it put under his head in the middle. That's what exactly what he's seen to him. Good ball in behind again. He just thinking, is it too tight an angle to shoot? And that's what Marquinhos has seen to him. He should have gone across and squared it to him. There'd have to be some finish to score from that angle. Hakimi. Over the top, which might just catch Brazil out. Mooney uses El Moravet. There's Rahimi. Buati. El Moravet. Yeah, the chant of Brazil going around this Canada's ball out. Trying to give them something, the fans only, trying to lift them that little bit. Rahimi on the run. Gabriel leans into him, shoulder to shoulder, says the referee. But he also says corner Morocco. He gets it right, I think. They do go shoulder to shoulder, but then once Gabriel goes down, it hits him. I think it goes up for the corner. See the frustration, can't you? Did what he had to do and then got that stroke of bad luck that he didn't need. Substitute Samir El Moravet, 19 years old, will take the corner for Morocco and try and deliver a winning moment if he can. Shooting put on Alisson on the goal line. Alisson decides to go back again. Talbi lets it go out. 5 minutes of the added to go. Referee's counting down. You can see his fingers in the air there. 2 seconds. 1. Get on with it. Get rid of it quick. They done up to a point by Cunha, but then he lost possession in a dangerous place. Talbi.
Nawi. So short. Mooney on the wing, but he's back to win it.
Guide. All channels. 1. BBC One Unruly. MOTD Live. Brazil v Morocco. Audio description. 22:32. Today. MOTD Live. Haiti v Scotland. Audio description. 1:10 to 4:35. 1. BBC One Unruly. Synopsis. Coverage of the Group C match between Haiti and Scotland from Boston Stadium. Also in HD. S-Ad. Genre. Sport. Subtitle.
Certainly with a goal in that first half, the gap between him and Marquinhos is huge.
Right decision there, Firmino. Later into the challenge, boot to boot. What has Morocco got planned here? That's what Alisson's trying to work out. He's building his defences, keeping them as far away from his goal as they could possibly be. More of it with the left, and that's a waste.
Poor free kick, isn't it? Such a good opportunity to try and put a quality ball in the box so late in the game.
It's a bit of a waste of a goal kick. Well, punt clear anyway from Alisson as well. One that suggests 1-1 will do that.
Yeah, it's certainly had that feeling in the second half, hasn't it? Just feeling that both teams have been very, very reluctant to attack too much. In the case that they leave something at the back and be punished. Neither team's done enough to win it. Yet.
This is on the yet, because there's over 2 minutes to play yet. Santos. Vinicius Junior doesn't get what he wanted. Talby. Rahimi, the 9 in the middle. He cheers up from the... Actually, no, the cheers from the Morocco fans who are waving their teams forward. I thought it was Brazilian fans voicing their displeasure for a moment. Here goes Hakimi. Run it too close. That's a chance. It's a good try. Alisson spilled it. Recovered in the nick of time.
We had to recover as well. Once he parried it, wasn't 100% certain he was actually on target.
Bending all the time from Eli Nui. I think he might have grabbed it, you know.
Yeah, he had to react really quickly and he did that.
Just got that before Ayoub Mooney, who was trying to steal in. Well, yeah, it's hard to tell.
My eyes are still working, you see, even though we're that high up.
From way on high, we get to see maybe one last Moroccan corner. They started the game the stronger, they're ending the game the stronger. Hakimi, too strong.
Too much on it.
Yes, Mooney again, holding up the challenges. Back with Bono. Duarte. Back with Bono again. We're in the countdown to the final seconds, and that is it. In New York, New Jersey, the first game of the tournament at the stadium where it will end later on in next month. And it's on as even between Brazil and Morocco. Morocco, the stronger team for large parts, taking the lead through Ismail Saifari. Equalised 11 minutes later by Vinicius Junior. The second half perhaps inevitably much slower, not quite as entertaining, and I think when all said and done, 1 point each
is that a win for either side in the game between Scotland against Haiti, which is at 2 o'clock, and they will top the group. If you've been trying to stay awake for that Scotland kick-off at 2 o'clock, really sorry about the second half of that game and how difficult it made it for you. Look, it was a lot quieter in the second half, and a lot of that really was down to the approach that Morocco put in. It seemed as though they were relatively happy with the point, Hassan.
Yes, I think they put a lot of energy in this first half, and we don't realize, but it's the weather and the humidity to just carry on doing all those efforts. It takes its toll. And I think as soon as Morocco made three substitution after 65 minutes, they start controlling the game again and having more of the possession. So overall, I'm quite happy with the draw.
Not a bad result at all for Morocco, but they didn't have a shot on goal, not a shot on target between the 31st minute and then that effort that we saw in the 99th minute of that game. What do we make of Brazil after all of that, Gus?
Disappointed. We were expecting more, especially in the team game. The individuals we know, they can produce at any time. Vinicius done it today, but it was not enough. I was surprised how bad technically they were today. I don't know who was the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the pitch didn't help. It was a problem, but they were missing passes, simple passes that you would expect a Brazilian player to do well. At the end, both teams, they didn't play to win. They played not to lose. And it's very difficult to play not to lose, trying to go forward. And there was practically no chances in this one.
Should we remind ourselves of the first half? Because there were a couple of really good goals in that, Joe.
Yeah, of course. Let's not lose the fact that first half was enthralling. You know, tactically from both sides, it was so interesting. But here, as Gus talked about, Paquetá losing it in the midfield, and then Diaz just on that half turn. It's a beautiful ball. And Saibari penetrates the two centre halves. Disappointing it will be for Gabriel with his body position, and almost Alisson as a triangle. They're three of their best players, and they got caught out there and they got punished. And Morocco took a deserved lead. That was a really, really good goal. This is Hakimi high, and his threat was so important in the first half. But Brazil knew they just had to isolate Vini Jr. once, especially if they could do it against Hakimi with him not there. And this is where he comes into his own. He was quiet in the game, of course he was, but you can't criticise players like this because they have their moments. On the big stage, he cuts in, thrashes it past Bono. What a massive moment.
Because Brazil and Morocco had played each other in the opening game of this group, there was always a chance that we might see this, that we might see things being even at the end of it. But what it does mean is that in a group in which the 6th and 7th ranked teams in the world are contenders, Scotland or Haiti have the chance to be top of this group at the end of the first round of matches. It puts them, I mean, yes, it's not a bad point for either Brazil or Morocco, but what does it say about their chances of progressing from the group, do you think?
I just think that Scotland's got a great opportunity. If they win tonight, they will become top of the group, and they will play Morocco in 5 days with a lot of confidence. And you know that the best third team can go through as well. So with 3 points and a positive goal difference, or 4 points, you will go through. So I do think there's still a lot to play for, but Scottish fans must be excited.
They are starting to get very excited and tired, I would imagine, as we push towards that 2 o'clock kickoff. What do you think it means for the group, Gus?
Well, I think normally the first games, they are very, very, very difficult to play. You know, everybody says how important.
1. BBC One Unruly. MOTD Live. Brazil v Morocco. 22:30 to 1:10. DTV Terrestrial.
We just say, okay, we win this one, and we are incredible. I mean, the step is massive. So it's going to be a very important game for us.
Gus and Hassan, lovely to spend time with you this evening. We'll be seeing
Guide.
tournament, but we're nearly there. It is nearly time for Scotland. Joe, you're going to stay with us for that one. After 28 years, there is less than an hour to go until kick-off for Scotland at a World Cup. Their game against Haiti is next, and it feels as though the whole country is behind them.
Just wanted to say all the very best at the World Cup. We'll all be cheering you on.
We're all behind you. The whole country is behind you.
You're going to do a magnificent job.
Long before Messi and David Beckham, the NASL ran its own razzmatazz.
Soccer.
Showbiz.
Full stop.
A big-time glamour league with the greatest footballers on earth. George Betts, Pele. They had the swagger.
It was just genius.
A whole new ballgame.
Why are we trying to...
Two.